Judge.
Item 2 on the order paper, communication from the chair.
No members, I welcome you to this afternoon sitting. I have a few announcements to make. The Secretary of the Pharmaceutical Society of Uganda requests members of Parliament and the staff to participate in the Sickle Cell Masters Run on 23rd September 2018 at Chadondo Rugby Club at 7 a.m. As you know, we have been supporting many causes. I want to invite all of you to, all those who are able to attend that important run. Secondly, honour members, at the start of the third session, we indicated that we are changing our way of work and that the first meetings are dedicated majorly to legislation. I want to notify the following committees that they are late. The Committee on Budget has 2 bills, Supplementary Appropriation 2017 and Supplementary Appropriation number 2, 2017. You are well over the 45 days. Committee on Presidential requested recently for extension and was granted by this House. Committee on Gender, Labour and Social Development, you are late with the Minimum Wages Bill 2015 by over 700 days. And no authority for extension has been brought to this House. The Committee on Finance, Plan, Economic Development, Retirement Benefits Liberalization Bill, Investment Code Bill, and lately the Excise Duty Amendment Bill. On the first one, you are late by 732 days. Investment Code, you are late by 433 days. And Excise Duty, you are over your time by 34 days. Committee on Trade, Tourism and Industry, I believe you are late by over 500 days with the Wildlife Bill. You have not sought an extension. Cooperative Societies Amendment Bill, you are late by 700 days. You have not yet sought an extension. Committee on Health, I hope you are ready with the Indigenous and Complementary Medicine Bill, which is on the order paper, because you are late. Committee on Legal, on the Security Interest and Immovable Property Bill 2018, you are late by 122 days. Administration of Judicial Bill, you are late by 49 days. And this morning, the Law Society reminded me that they would want that law done before the end of this year. On Sexual Offences Bill, you are late by 602 days. You have not asked for extension. The law revision penalties in criminal matters, you are late by 602 days. You have not sought an extension. Also, the Human Rights Enforcement Bill, you are late by over 600 days. You need to either ask for permission or we put you on the order paper. Committee on Natural Resources, National Environment Bill, you are beyond the 45 days. So you have not come for an extension. Committee on Physical Infrastructure, the Civil Aviation Bill, you are late by 440 days. You have not come for an extension. Data Protection and Privacy Bill, Committee on ICT, you are by
and your request for permission has not yet come to us. Committee on Health, you have a petition by the Pharmacy Owners Association, and the results of that petition will feed into the licensing for next financial year. You are over by 45 days. You have not sought extension. There's a petition by the Bagungu on compensation, Committee of Infrastructure, taken 197 days. Petition by occupants of Kimogoro Ranch, Kiriandongo, late by more than 45 days. Petition by residents of Rubaga about evictions by KCA, late. Ujumba constituency in Karangara,
against Karanga Infrastructure Services Limited for infrastructure service on Bugara Island, late. Petition against encroachment on community land by Uganda Wildlife Authority, late. Irregular allocation of land by Uganda Land Commission in Valley, you are late. Committee on Gender, petition by elderly persons on SAGE, 300 days. Petition by former workers of UPTC, late by 300 days. Committee on Rules, you have some reports which are late by over 45 days, definitely. So we need you to come back to us on them as quickly as possible, or seek extension if you are not able to handle them. I think the bulk many are with the Rules Committee. So, honourable members, really, by the time we go for the independence break, the bills which are outstanding will have to be done, because the second sitting will be for reports of the standing committees and other committees. So all the bills must be done before we go for independence. So, honourable members, the situation is dire, and I want to inform you that we have developed an application which will track your work in the committee, but will also inform the public. If you are late, a notice will come out indicating that you are late, and it will be on the website. So there is no more hiding when we are not doing our work. So that's the situation, and please take our work seriously. So, honourable members, there are a few matters of national concern, and just use 2 minutes. Honourable Jara, 2 minutes quickly. We are going for matters of national concern.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much. The procedures I'm raising, I am a member on the Finance Committee. You talked about some bills. For example, like the Uganda Investment Code. It came to the House. It was debated. Again, they said there must be some harmonization. So where does the committee's problem begin from if it has presented the report to the House? That's not only one, but I've had very many. So, Madam Speaker, the procedure I'm raising is if the reports of committees on bills have been presented to the House, do you blame the committees or you blame the House?
Honourable Jara, just check with your committee.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this is the second time I'm actually presenting this matter in the floor of Parliament. In May this year, I presented two critical issues that is affecting my constituency. One, compensation.
And the forceful grabbing of land by the Ministry of Defense to the tune of 196 acres. And then the second issue, similar to that, against the council resolution, both the sub-county and then the district council resolution of saying there is no land in that area, the ministry went ahead and wanted to acquire 4 square miles of land for setting up a barracks. Madam Speaker, you ruled on this matter, and you indicated very clearly that the Ministry of Defense should come up with a statement that can be substantially debated in this House. Madam Speaker, since May up to now, nothing has happened. What is the problem, Madam Speaker? I beg to move. Thank you.
Well, there are 3 ministers in that ministry. May to September is 4 months. The minister must come tomorrow and respond to that issue. It's long overdue. Honorable Ilukor.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. I rise on a matter of national importance regarding the 300 motorized pumps for spraying fruit farms lying idle for 1 year now in Soroti Fruit Factory. Right Honourable Speaker, for close to a year now, 300 motorized pumps have been lying in the stores of fruit factories, Soroti Fruit Factory, and yet these were procured and meant for as an intervention for the diseases that have attacked the orange farms in the Teso and adjoining sub-regions. We are wondering what the intention of the concerned people are. Farmers are crying, the machines are lying. The factory is about to open, there are no oranges. The oranges are sick. So, Madam Speaker, my prayers are, can the Minister of Trade and Industry and that of Agriculture tell us why this equipment that was meant to be an urgent intervention has remained in the stores? 2, maybe I would suggest that, Madam Speaker, you intervene and let the Committee of Agriculture investigate how much was used to procure these machines, and also check the adequacy of these machines for the job that they were procured for. This may be one of the procurements gone bad. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
So can the Minister of Agriculture come and update us on whether he knows, first of all, that these farms are there? If he does, why are they still lying in the stores? So we want an answer Tuesday next week. Honorable Tumuheza, Tuyamuheza.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Madam Speaker and honorable members, I rise on a matter of urgent national importance regarding the deteriorating security situation in Rukunjiri and draw the attention of this House to yet another gruesome murder of Ms. Keshara Shivan, who was a student of Ugangari Secondary School. This murder occurred on 11th of September, Tuesday night in Kashenyi Trading Center in Ugangari Sub-County. The late Shivan was aged 17 years, studying in Senior 3, and she was a daughter of Mr. Matavaro Cornelius and Jore of Kashenyi Trading Center of Ugangari Sub-County in Rurumbura and Rukunjiri District. Madam Speaker and honorable members, the style in which Shivan was killed is similar to what we have seen of the other over 20 women being murdered in areas of Kampala and Wakiso by kidnapping, raping, killing them before dumping them in thick bushes. The late Shivan was only discovered after 2 days by kids who were looking for mangoes. Therefore, Shivan becomes about the 24th woman to be murdered in the recent past. Right Honorable Speaker, the whole of Rurumbura community and Rukunjiri districts are in panic. Students, especially young girls, are running away from school. They fear to go to school. Parents are worried because they don't know which young life of a girl child is going to be taken next. Our prayers, Madam Speaker, the people of Rukunjiri district need assurance, and very urgently so, from government and particularly the Minister of Internal Affairs.
Are there many? Quickly.
That government assures them of their security, and also the police to investigate this matter and bring the culprits to book. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Don't know whether the Minister of Internal Affairs would want to say something. Honorable Biga Kania.
Right Honorable Speaker, I've just been informed by the colleague, like other members, I'll get in touch, and by Tuesday, Wednesday, we shall give an answer to both that and what the investigations the police have done as far as this particular incident is concerned and the general situation of law and order in Rukungiri. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we expect an answer on Tuesday. Honorable Abbott, Uma.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I rise on a matter of national importance regarding the people of Bukoli Islands. Madam Speaker, some time back, I brought a matter before this House that caused anguish to my people as regards the UPDF protecting the lake. Madam Speaker, the enforcement officers have instead turned a big burden to the fishermen of Bukoli Islands. On 3rd August 2017, 2 people were killed, Omondi Frederick and Otieno George. Madam Speaker, the UPDF is operating together with an organization called AFALU. AFALU is Association of Fishers and Lake Users in Uganda, and these people have become extortionists. They are dealing with one person called Lukwago Joseph, who calls himself JP, and he has gone to the lake, beating our people and extorting money from them. Last month, he took fish worth 9 million shillings, and the issue is in Namayingo Police. I want to name the following people, Madam Speaker, who are conniving with the UPDF to torture and extort money of our people. One is Wanyama Rafael, Lukwago Joseph, Mangunyi Joseph, Amoti William, Edrisa, and many others. Madam Speaker, apart from extortion money, there is forcible grabbing of fish, and after grabbing your fish, they sell to the tycoons. Madam Speaker, lastly, we are representative of the people, and when we bring the issues to this House, and our lives are threatened, Madam Person, one captain called Sebukera is threatening our lives. Our prayer, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, our prayer is that these people who are beating our people should be brought to book, and that this army should be transferred from the waters. Permission.
Madam Speaker, and my colleagues, I want to inform the House and the country at large that I was lucky to be on the burial of the mother of our honorable brother. But what I discovered, there is a very big problem. By good luck, being an NRM member of parliament, I shouted NRM Oye, and I was abused. I was abused because of the atrocities committed by the soldiers on the waters. Madam Speaker, I want to inform that the actions of the soldiers on the lake have made the support of my great party deteriorate on the lake. And something must be done so that we put our system right. I know we have other members of parliament from here who are on the lake are keeping quiet, but you are sitting on fire. We have only 2.5 years to go and face those people. Something must be put right. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. That's my information.
Okay. You finish your prayers?
Speaker, my prayer was that the head of the operations in the name of Sebukera should be transferred, and that those people who are extorting money should be investigated. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Now, honourable members, it is a pity that the Prime Minister is not here, but the issues raised by Honourable Abbott are exceedingly grave. On Sunday, I was in Namayingo. 2 members of Parliament from Kenya, Honourable Wanjala of Budalango constituency, Honourable Ochanda of Bondo constituency, came with their county representatives to complain about the UPDF brutality on the lake in the Kenyan waters. They asked me why we are exporting brutality to Kenya. Yes. In fact, for them, they thought that the UPDF were harassing them only to find that they first harass the Ugandans, then they cross the border and go to Kenya and also harass the Kenyans.
Which is it true? Internal affairs is here.
Yesterday, I had to speak to the president about this matter. We cannot continue. We cannot continue brutalizing the Ugandans because of exporting fish.
Yes.
They have stopped them from even smoking fish. You know, these people like Oma here, they eat fish for breakfast, fish for lunch, fish for dinner. But They are grabbing their fish.
They burn their houses.
We want action. Those people are known. Last Tuesday, I invited the Minister of Agriculture, together with the Minister of Finance, and those UPDF people here in our boardroom, to discuss their conduct against the population. When the people went back, 9 were arrested for coming to Parliament. They were arrested for having come here to speak. So where would the Ugandans go? Where would the Ugandans go? And the Minister of Defense has failed to come to answer on the vehicles grabbed which are in Nakasongola for the last 3 years from the fishing community. He has not come. It's, you know, I want a commitment from the Prime Minister that these people, there's a Canon Wagaba, there's someone called Sebukera, and many others. They must be arrested. Ugandans cannot live as if they are slaves. And I spoke to the President yesterday, and I've sent a letter today. But I want the Prime Minister to commit here that action will be taken against these people. Honorable Kasivanti. We have spoken for all of you. Buvuma, Karangara, Nakasongora, Buyenda, I've spoken for all of you on that issue.
Procedure, Madam Speaker.
Yeah.
Procedure.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Hold a bit. Apparently this one on fire. Okay. Otieno.
Yeah, thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I notice that in this House, the soldiers who are tormenting Ugandans are represented here. We have got their members of they have got members of Parliament representing that constituency. Right Honourable Speaker, wouldn't it be procedure right for the members of Parliament representing the army, which is tormenting Ugandans, make a statement on why actually they are tormenting now even neighbors? Right now, wouldn't it be proper and right that these members of Parliament representing a dangerous constituency now make a statement in the House?
Well, I don't know. Where is Honorable Dakot? She's the leader of the UPDF. General Coretta, yes. You have been here when the complaints are raised many times.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker and colleague members. I would like to inform the Honourable Member who is asking we, the members of Parliament representing UPDF, to comment on the issues of what is happening on the lake. I would like to inform the member and the rest of the House, there are tactical matters, there are operational matters, and also strategic matters.
Point of order.
Right Honourable Speaker, with pain, I raise on a point of order to my respected honourable colleague. I sympathize with him, but I detest in the strongest terms possible when we raise matters of constitutional matter, like the issue of torture. When you read Article 44 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, it states that it is a non-derogable right. And you come here on the floor of the House, members of the Parliament ask you to state why you are torturing the citizens and exporting torture to Kenya. Then you come here on the floor of the House and you are saying it is a tactical matter. Is he in order? Is he in order to overthrow the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, even in our face? Is he in order?
Honour members, it is not only the UPDF which is on the waters. There is no complaint from the Tanzania military. There is no complaint about the Kenya military. The complaint is about the Uganda military. Uganda. So, General Coretta, please answer our question. Why are you brutalizing people?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and members. I wish some of our members could wait for me to hear what I wanted to say instead of jumping up to threaten me. I feel threatened. Protect me, Honorable Speaker. Tactical matters happen on the ground, locally. Operational matters come at a medium level, strategic matters at a national and regional level. Allow me to explain. What is going on in the lake are acts of indiscipline on the individual level. It is not condoned, supported, or agreed by the command of UPDF. I would request the House, through you, Right Honorable Speaker, that we get hold of our commanders from the ministerial level and the command of the UPDF itself to make a formal statement. Personally, I would not be adequate enough to satisfy this House with an adequate explanation.
Now, honour members, if the military here are not impressed by that conduct, what have you done about it? We have raised this matter 4 times. This same session, 4 times. No action, no ministerial statement, minister disappears, they all disappear, they're even not here today. Honorable Kibali.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the constituencies that we represent when there is something that is not going right, we go back to those constituencies and discuss from in-house. The UPDF representatives here must also be doing the same when they go back to those barracks. Madam Speaker, the issue of UPDF burning houses from those islands does not only end on hearsay. We have seen this on TV. We have seen people being thrown in water. We have seen people being killed. And everybody has really shouted, not only in 1 month, not 1 week. It has been there for more than a year. Madam Speaker, just a second. The people we have here are the top cream of the UPDF, including the former CDF here. When we begin crying, and our colleagues come here and romance with the statements that it's not UPDF, they are normal people. When people move with the guns, for us in Uganda, we know, and the only person who has a right to move with a gun broad day must be a soldier. So when you come here, say this, we cry the other side, you beat us. We cry the other side, you torture civilians. We are crying now, the fishmongers are being killed. Now, what shall we say? Information.
Thank you, Honourable colleague, for giving way. And thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker, for allowing this little bit of debate about this matter. Madam Speaker, I come from Mubende, right now it is Kasanda district. But Madam Speaker, you are aware that last year, over 60,000 people were evicted from Mubende mines. And those were civilians evicted from the mines. Madam Speaker, since the eviction, the mines were taken over by the UPDF. Since last year, UPDF has been carrying on with mining of gold. And the stories we hear from the mines, I don't know whether they are the tactical ones, they are the strategic ones. Madam Speaker, our people day in, day out are being tortured by the army. They hire them, people sneak in to go and do mining. They get them, they torture them, they do all sorts of things to them. I'm saddened to hear the same story is going on the waters. Now, these are natural resources of this country, of the people of Uganda. The message that is being sent by the UPDF, that probably it is only the right of the UPDF to exploit the natural resources of this country. Because wherever you hear natural resources, that's where you'll find UPDF. You'll find them in sand mining. You'll find them anywhere there is sand mining. Madam Speaker, even in forests. Madam Speaker.
Please conclude.
Madam Speaker, the UPDF, when you hear the name Uganda People's Defense Forces, and what we are having today, you get torture from members of parliament down to the wananchi. Madam Speaker, this is not a matter for us to just look on as the parliament, and we must do something serious about this force which is torturing the people of Uganda.
Honourable members, the Prime Minister is directed to come tomorrow and address us on this impunity, which we have been raising for the last 3 months. We've raised this for 3 months. Defense has not come. The Prime Minister should come tomorrow. And without fail. Honourable Kasivant.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. I rise on a matter of national importance. Madam Speaker, government last week in activities presided over by His Excellency, the President of Uganda, launched programs within Kampala in which checks amounting to hundreds of millions of Uganda shillings were extended to various groups of people. Madam Speaker, one of our cardinal roles as members of parliament is to oversee the implementation of government programs, is to oversee use of public funds, beginning from within our respective constituencies. And the checks directed drawn from the central bank, a Bank of Uganda, were given out to various groups of people in Kampala. Madam Speaker, surprisingly, none of the members of Parliament of Kampala was invited in these activities. Right Honourable Speaker, charging direct from the Central Bank of the country.
What's the point of order?
Is charging from the consolidated fund.
What's the point of order?
Madam Speaker, as my colleague is complaining of flying checks left and right to the central of Kampala City from Bank of Uganda, I don't know whether the member of parliament who is talking is in order to talk about the money when our constituencies that voted NRM 90% have not got anything. Is there a honourable member in order?
Actually, I was going to congratulate you. For you, you are lucky. Yeah. I have not seen checks on the other side of the Nile.
Yeah. Madam Speaker and members, the point I'm trying to make is this. First of all, this man has brought a lot of stampede within our constituencies, and the information we are getting is that checks are reportedly torn within the fracas that is ensuing. I thus request the government to explain, one, details of this arrangement. Is this a revolving fund where the beneficiaries really adequately selected? Couldn't it be that they brought people within Kampala? Some of the people, those got this money, we don't know them. Information?
Madam Speaker, thank you. The information I would like to give to my honorable colleague about the beneficiaries, we read in the newspapers, in fact it was announced by the minister in charge of Kampala, that the president will be distributing some finances to the youths, ghetto youths, for immunization against poverty. But the beneficiaries in this, according to the information that I got from Katwe, where I represent, and Indeba, the nearby area, the checks were handed over to people above 50, 70, 60 years. I don't know how these over 45 and 50 years.
Conclude.
In conclusion, this money was charged from consolidated fund. That we don't have any doubt, because these checks were drawn from Bank of Uganda. So that is taxpayers' money. We want to know which agents of government is in charge of this. This morning I contacted the road mayor, his lordship, Elias Lukwago, and he was not in any know of this money. Is it Kampala in charge? Is it Ministry of Finance? Is it local government? Is it youth? Which agency is drawing consolidated funds from the central bank and giving out to beneficiaries that we don't know? Could it be some relatives and friends of officials who are moving with His Excellency? Thank you.
Minister of Finance, can you say something about this bonanza for Kampala?
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Order.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. As you recall, in this House, we appropriated resources under the State House vote. And the President is using these resources to help the youth of Kampala. And indeed, the program is starting from Kampala, but it's going to spread over the country. Madam Speaker, it is very unfortunate that people who are representing these young people who are being helped can come here to scandalize this matter.
Honorable Kampulira Mbabazi, Minister for Kampala. Okay.
Right Honorable Speaker, the norm is to thank an honorable member for raising a matter in this House, and so I will thank my colleague, the Member of Parliament representing Rubaga North constituency, actually my Member of Parliament, and I am shocked that instead of the member thanking government for for bringing this project to Kampala, pilot project to Kampala first. The member is questioning the president's goodwill in Kampala. That being said, Madam Speaker, the checks that are being said were actually dummy checks. So I wonder how dummy checks, the amount of money will be received after certain conditions have been put in place. But the Member of Parliament stood here and said that the checks were torn in place. They were actually dummy checks. I was there. I saw them. They are dummy checks.
There's a point of procedure there.
Madam Speaker, in the last Parliament, while you were in that chair, in the 8th Parliament, you caused a directive to be issued by the Prime Minister then, Right Honorable Apollo Sibambi, that no minister should go to the constituency of any member of Parliament on official government work without notifying the MP in writing. It is a resolution of this House under your wise leadership and chair. So the point of procedure I'm asking, we thank the check. We want to see such kind of money is going everywhere. But the procedural matter I am raising, out of courtesy, is it procedurally right for ministers to sneak to constituencies without informing the area members of Parliament, contrary to the resolutions of this House?
Or the member is highly discourteous to just go and do work without informing. We're elected members, those are our constituencies, and it's a resolution of this House. And government undertook that the ministers will inform the members before they go.
Right Honorable Speaker, it is true that it is courteous for ministers to inform members of Parliament. And I want to say, although this was the President's program, but I want to say that members of Parliament for Kampala have always been invited, but when there are government programs, they have never attended them. I will lay here on table tomorrow, Madam Speaker, letters to members of Parliament of Kampala who have been invited to government programs and they have never responded to any of them. Secondly, Madam Speaker, we all know that there is a program called Tubalemese. I would like to know today, I'm happy today that the program Tubalemese is no longer there. Members of Parliament of Kampala will always be invited and they will attend government programs. We are moving forward, Madam Speaker. Thank you very much.
Proceed. Akampulira. We're on proceed now.
Thank you very much, Madam Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I raise on a matter of national importance of the students' loan beneficiaries for the academic year 2018-2019 that came out in the New Vision on the 14th September 2018. That is on last Friday. Madam Speaker, a list of names came out with different names of students who benefited from the loan scheme. Madam Speaker, these students that came, we do not know, or I do not know where they come from, because when you look at the list that came out of, I think, 3,000 students, they don't have the schools where they come from, the districts, and even the regions. And you wonder, Madam Speaker, the criteria in which they use the Ministry of Education. Further to that, Madam Speaker, Further to that, Madam Speaker, when you look at the students, when we go back to our villages, for example, Rwanda district, the people I represent, and my sister Kabali is here. Madam Speaker, students call us every day requesting for school fees, asking us on how to get these loans. You send them to banks, they reach there, they are bounced. My prayer, Madam Speaker, to the Ministry of Education, Madam Speaker, the Ministry of Education should come out. If they cannot move the whole country, let them make small booklets or small brochures and send them to different schools, telling students on how to apply for these loans. Madam Speaker, we do not know, they are saying that.
I think you made your point. Can I ask the Minister of Education to speak to the... Let me ask the Minister, first of all, you are taking issue about the composition, the regions. Okay, let Mbabas complete, then Abbas, then Minister. Mbabas, you complete.
Madam Speaker, I think the Minister needs to take this. We have talked to the Students' Loans Board for some time, and they are rigid. When students apply for the loans, first, the student has to be applied to a university to get admitted for a course. The courses which have been listed. Now, after the students have been admitted for the different courses in the different universities, they apply to be considered for the loan scheme. Unfortunately, when the board sits to consider those they are going to select, they go back to the performance of the students. This is irregular, because by the time the students have applied to the universities and have been admitted, their performance is no longer relevant. In fact, the consideration should be who is very unlikely to study if we don't give him money. That should be what they consider to give them loans. Unfortunately, they look at the performance. If you have medicine and you have been admitted in KIU, you have medicine, you have been admitted in Makerere, they still look at your performance. If you have then they take the best performers. Among those they are giving loans, we have argued with them to tell them the criteria should be which student is not likely to study if we don't give you money, because it's a loan. The performance or the grade is no longer of value. I think the minister should take this and they can answer them together. Thank you.
Honorable Mbabas, please conclude, then we ask the minister to say something.
Speaker, my prayers continue to the ministry that as these lists come out, Madam Speaker, let them tell us the districts, even when they are bringing them out from the newspapers, let them indicate the districts, the schools they are coming from, and even the points they have gotten in the schools where they are. And that will clearly help us, Madam Speaker, to know and even to advise our people back in our districts how they should perform for them to get these loans. I submit. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Let me ask the minister, before he comes, join me in welcoming in the public gallery. We have district councillors from Serere district. They are here for training at the Institute of Parliamentary Studies. They are representative of Honorable Okupa and Honorable Adoa. You are welcome. Minister of Education.
Thank you very much, Madam.
And Okabe. Okabe, Okupa, Adoa. Those are the MPs.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker and my colleagues, the loan scheme, the law that brought that loan scheme into place was passed by this House, and the whole idea is to enable Ugandans access higher education, particularly those who are financially unable, and we strictly follow that principle. Probably my colleagues and maybe some other people have forgotten, but what we do, these loans are given to students, Ugandan students, who are financially unable but have been admitted for a diploma or degree course in a chartered university or a public university. We have designed a system or a criteria that goes in for a candidate who is financially unable. And that it's a computerized system that captures the details about this student right from the day he started primary school up to the present day. Madam Speaker, the information my colleague would like to appear when we are releasing the results is available with us, and we can present it anytime. But otherwise, I've made it very clear, and I want to repeat even here, Madam. case there is anybody who feels there is some rich guy's daughter or son on that list, please draw it to my attention. I'll take the necessary action. Thank you very much.
Now, honourable members, you know that law was passed here. It was carefully considered. We spent 2 sitting weeks on that issue, and we tried to cover all the loopholes. If you have any specific loophole, you bring it. But I think we did a thorough job. But you can lay the list on the table for the information of the members. Honourable Pachuto. So you lay the list because we haven't seen it.
Madam Speaker, I pray that you give me some time because I didn't carry the list with me today, but I can lay it on the table tomorrow.
Pakwach?
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I rise on a matter of national importance. On the morning of 16th this month, the people of Pakwach woke up to a tragedy, if I may call it. A lorry carrying traders from Amoro district and parts of Noya was heading to a market, to Panyimur market in Pakwach district. When they arrived in Pakwach, as the traders were heading to where they're supposed to sell off scraps, the road that they were using leads to the Nile, part of Albert Nile. Unfortunately, the vehicle lost control and the driver plus the goods plus the people plunged into the River Nile. As I speak, Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, 9 bodies were recovered yesterday, 7 of which were women, including a young female baby of 9 months. 2 were male. 2 other bodies have not yet been recovered. All the 8 bodies were taken back to Amoro. Only 1 body is still unclaimed. The vehicle apparently was a canter of about 4 tons, overloaded with cassava, dry cassava, and some fresh cassava. And
so what are the prayers? What are the prayers?
Right Honourable Speaker, my prayers are that the Marine Police that are right now at day bordering Congo should be supported with equipment and more training and facilitation. Because whereas they rushed to the scene, they were helpless. We were just left with fishermen who tried to recover goods that had gone in the water. We appeal to government to at least attach 2 divers and a speed motorboat at Pakwach Central Police. My other prayer is that the police should enforce the regulations and laws on use of trucks and to avoid overloading. These people apparently were seated on top of goods, so they went in the water and the goods followed them. Even when before the chopper brought in the divers, the local people could touch bodies, but the goods were on top of them because of overloading. This truck came through 3 districts. There were definitely policemen on the road, but they did nothing to stop them. Our other prayer is that Pakwach is the gateway to West Nile. We are suffering as a people. We get accidents of people in the park, and the first call of response is the Health Center 4, which is inadequate to handle such cases. We are appealing to government to upgrade Pakwach Health Center 4 into a hospital status, And the DPC Pakwach should be supported with another vehicle to help with administration, because the only vehicle that they had were for operations, and they were the ones moving up and down to pick bodies here and there. I submit. I thank you, Honourable Speaker.
So can we ask the Minister of Works to update us on the possibilities of supporting further the Marine unit in the area of the Albert Nile, and also the Minister of Works, whose The Minister of Works was supposed to come here with a new law. I don't know what has happened because we had this debate. I don't know when the law is coming to deal with the road improvement on the road. The other one is for the Minister of Health. She's here. She can tell us. Honorable Tinkasimire. 2 minutes.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I raise on a matter of national importance concerning the son of the soil from Bunyoro called Kanondahura Virakuratira Atoki. He was arrested on 12th of June this year at midnight, and he was locked up at Makindi military barracks with a lot of struggle. They were able to allow his wife to see him. His lawyer, subsequently, they stopped them from seeing him. He's 58 years of age, diabetic, has been denied access to his personal doctor. He has failed to be produced before a competent court, contrary to even the court order that was secured before his Justice Sechana Musa. And Right Honorable Speaker, as we speak now, the information streaming from Makinde military barracks, this senior army officer is sick. The family members are worried.
Now, please, honorable members, you just state what is it you want. What is it you want? You don't want stories.
We, the people who come from Bureau, are very worried that he may die in cells. Our prayers are that if the state has any case against him, should produce him before a competent court, because now it is 96 days. Contrary to what is provided by the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda of 48 hours, they're abusing his rights. Among them, torturing him in cells, locking him in cells that have no lights. We are praying before this House that he's released, because they have failed to charge him, and even the UPDF Act, Section 190, provides that when an army officer suspected has been under custody for 90 days and no reasonable charge that has been brought before him or against him, he will be released unconditionally. All those have not been done. It is 96 days now. We pray that he is released.
Honour members, this House cannot direct. Can I advise you to apply for a writ of habeas corpus? Apply for a writ of habeas corpus so that it is produced in court. Honourable Buturo, apply for writ of habeas corpus. Apply again. Apply again. Honourable Buturo.
Madam Speaker,
Two minutes, please. 2 minutes.
Madam Speaker, Kisoro District is emerging as a major
tourist destination, and lots of tourism-related activities are coming up every other day. And there are other economic activities that are coming up as a result of the new place that Kisoro is having in this nation. Madam Speaker, the vibrance of all this is being threatened by a new situation, which is the intermittence of power supply as never before. It's worrying, it's threatening the tourism industry in that part of our country. And so I would wish to pray, Madam Speaker, that the minister does explain this new phenomenon we are facing and also offer solutions to what is going on that is a threat to these new economic opportunities that our people are having in the district, Madam Speaker.
Can the Minister of Energy come and explain to this House the plans for stable power in Kisoro district so that our people are comfortable next week? Ona Mirembe Butambala.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I rise on a matter of national importance regarding thunder strikes in schools that have claimed many lives in Uganda. Madam Speaker, in Butambala district last year in November, during inter-primary competitions, thunder struck at Tagoba Umeya Primary School in Ngando Sub-County, leaving 7 pupils dead, and there are so many cases that go unreported in the country. My prayer is the government makes it a policy for all schools to have thunder arresters such that the lives of our students be protected. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honourable members, I think in the 8th or the 9th Parliament, this House made that resolution that arresters should be installed. I don't know whether the Minister of Education can update us on that issue.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, it's true. This Parliament decided that we install lightning arrester in all the schools. We embarked on a program that is installing lightning arresters in all schools. We started with badly hit areas, and I want to tell you, Madam Speaker, that this year we have been given money, and some of the schools that are going to be covered, Butambala area is one of those that we have earmarked to cover this financial year. I thank you, Madam Speaker. It's one of the many. We are going to cover many, but Butambala is one of the areas.
Members, you can get the details from their programs. If we appropriated money, there's a program. Baseke, Ona Baseke.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I have 2 issues. One, concerning SBI, the company which was contracted to construct Mukono Kayunga Njeru Road. Madam Speaker, in March 2017, you visited affected residents in Magala Village, Kayunga District, and they complained they talked about a number of complaints. One of them was about their compensation. I'm happy to report, after your intervention, they paid these people, and we thank you very much. However, Madam Speaker, SBI committed to do a number of things. One of them was to renovate Magala Church of Uganda and a primary school called Chikonyogo, which was heavily affected by the blasting. These things were supposed to be done by October last year, but they relocated without fulfilling all these pledges. They were supposed to drill 4 boreholes and widen the access road from the main road to the quarry. They went before completing these things. Efforts to make them comply have been futile. Last week I visited this place, and the residents told me SBI has again come back to start blasting again without fulfilling the pledges, and yet their contract with the community ended in 2017. Madam Speaker, my prayer is we hold the activities of SBI at Magala Kware until complaints raised by the community are addressed. The next thing, Madam Speaker, I want to raise concerns unknown people. Last Saturday, went and attacked one village and destroyed crops of about 32 households in Busaga's village, Nazigo sub-county, and left them with nothing to survive on. Madam Speaker, my prayer is for the Minister of Disaster Preparedness to assist us with some food relief.
Okay, Minister of Works, I don't know whether you're able to address this issue. I met with you and UNRWA over compensation and the rehabilitation of those buildings more than a year ago. I don't know.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'll take note of Honorable Basake's concern. I'll take it up and interact with the SBI on those issues which were left undone. Then I'll get back to the House and also to him.
Okay, Honourable members, I invite Honorable Kafuzi, but join me in welcoming a delegation from Ruamata. Is that you? Ruamata Sub-County in Chivoga, represented by Honorable Ruth Nankabirwa and Honorable Kefa Chiwanuka. You're welcome. Honorable Kafuzi. SBI? Yes, Honorable Wagaba, and then Honorable Kafuzi.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I just wanted to help the Minister and the Honorable Member because these issues come up almost daily. We did pass the Companies Act in 2012, Act 1 of 2012. And the schedule there too, we included the provisions of corporate social responsibility, which is now part of our legal regime. It would be incumbent on the government especially, both the local and central government, whenever awarding tenders and contracts to these companies, to ensure that the provisions of the Companies Act on corporate social responsibility are incorporated in such agreements. Short of that, we will continue to be ripped off by companies, and yet the law is there. So, Honorable Minister, you need to look at that and see how these companies you've given tenders, especially in road construction, have incorporated aspects of corporate social responsibility in your agreements.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I raise on a matter of national importance. Some time back, Honorable Pentagon, the MP for Butemba, and myself came on the floor of this House. We raised the concern being that our people had produced a lot of maize and they were stuck with it. There was no market. They were selling maize. They were selling their maize at 200 or 150 shillings. Right Honorable Speaker, my constituency does two things. We produce a lot of maize, but we also have a lot of beef products. For the past 5 months, we've been having a quarantine because of foot and mouth disease. At the same time, my voters, the people of Chaka South, are stuck with maize, and yet we had hoped that would get market and would be in position to pay fees for our students. Government informed us that they had They had got 100 billion shillings for that purpose. We prepared our farmers to sell this maize to whoever will be sent to them by government. Right Honorable Speaker, up to now, we have not seen anyone coming to buy that maize. Unfortunately, we have a policy that we have to take seeds to our people. So when I went distributing these seeds, my voters were asking that we are already stuck with maize. Now you are bringing us more maize. What is happening? Honorable Wanzala.
Noah, quickly.
Hello. Thank you very much, my colleague. Madam Speaker, when you go to my constituency, Nakasongola, of course, I told them that Parliament has passed a resolution that government is going to start buying maize at a tune of 500 shillings per kilograms. People kept their maize. And they were rest assured that they will get money to take back their children to school. But when you go to our constituencies, there are some government agencies, I think, who are buying maize, but they are buying at a tune of 300, 250. There's no change. Madam Speaker, our humble prayer is that government stick on its words to buy maize at a tune of 500 and above. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Thank you, my brother.
Honourable Minister of Finance, we had several debates on the issue of the low price. The Minister of Trade came here and said we have solved the issue. Where is the money? Where is that money? How can we access it? Who has it? What is the key to accessing it?
Madam Speaker, tomorrow we'll come up with a list of those companies that have benefited from the facility that we put in place to help our farmers to the house. And then also update you on it. But what we did is that anybody who is going to benefit from this agricultural facility in the banks should buy the maize at a minimum of 500. So if you find out that you benefited from this facility, because it's being, they are getting it at a cheaper price, and you are not buying maize at 500, the minimum of 500, then that will be wrong. But tomorrow, I beg and promise that tomorrow I'll come with the list.
Okay. I think let's wait for the list to come.
Yes.
Then we can ask questions when we have seen the list. Honourable Wariomu, let him bring tomorrow, Honourable.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise on matter of national importance regarding the land grabbers. Madam Speaker, my people of Buyengo and the neighboring sub-counties of Bukoma, Nawampit, and Kitayondwa, and Kachira, they are living in fear after a team claiming to have come from the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development approached them and told them that the government is interested in their land after discovering that their land possesses minerals. They told them that the government is planning to shift them, that is shifting my people, to the unknown area and advise them to sell off their land if they want to gain. Madam Speaker, they went ahead and told my people that if they want to get the information, then they can consult me as their area member of parliament. Information.
You will answer. Let him ask first.
They advise my people that if they want to gain out of their land.
Order. Yes, Honorable.
Honorable Minister, your people, if they are your people, they advise my people that if they want to gain out of their land, they should sell off their land. Not only that, they even told my people that they should come and consult me, that I'm aware of this program. Madam Speaker. Information.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker, and thank you, Honorable colleague, for giving way. Madam Speaker, we appreciate that there are investors, and there are a number of them that have gone in the mining sector, but they're doing a disservice to the community of this country. Right Honorable Speaker, in my district of Olira and one sub-county of Ngeta, there is Victoria Marble Granite and then Universal Marble Granite doing a disservice to our people. They are not compensating. They have destroyed crops. They have made access roads, and they are not paying anything at all. We appreciate their work as investors, but they need to rent the land. The land needed not to be sold, or they don't need to, take people's things for granted. So we know for sure that Minister of Minerals, please, your investors are doing disservice to our people of this country.
Honorable, please conclude.
Thank you, Honorable Courage. Madam Speaker, my prayers are, I need an explanation from the government to avert the fears of my people. One, whether they are safe. Two, which minerals are these? Then number two, I request the government that they should inform readers on any development in their area of regulation before approaching the communities to enable us to differentiate between wrongdoers and government programs. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Minister of Energy, you're anxious to speak?
Thank you, Right Honorable, and dear colleagues. Cattle rustling is an old issue. Right Honorable, when we access these minerals, we follow laws. When we follow laws, when you get a license, if it is a prospecting license, you move through the country in search of minerals that you would be interested in. When you say, I have got in such an area, what happens? They give you an exploration license. Exploration license is to enable you to go and look for this. But as you take the license, the papers, you take to the chief district administrator. And that person introduces you to the councillors and to all the local leaders. This person is holding an exploration license. That exploration license does not entitle you to that land. No. You go there. If you are trespassing an area and destroying some crops, you must compensate for those crops. But the land belongs to the owner. Now, you go there and file returns back to say, I am able to get this. If you get nothing, just go away and leave the land of the people. If you get something, then they tell you another thing called the mining lease.
Order.
If they give you a mining lease, you go back to the area.
Order. Order.
On a point of order, Honorable Waida.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. These people have been in my constituency and even Igang for 4 years. They come and dig pits in people's land. They don't even cover. And when they are digging those pits, there are some funny objects which might be very dangerous to our people. They even put some signposts without talking to the owners of the land. They will just put a signpost there, making our people scared that maybe they have taken the land. And they go to the lower leaders. They fear. Those people fear talking to us, the MPs, because they know we are more informed. So they don't want us to talk to the local people. They go to the lower people. So is the minister in order to show the whole country that he doesn't know what is going on the ground, that these people are putting signposts without informing the owners of the land? They are digging up pits without even covering and without even compensating those people. Is it in order?
Now, Honourable Minister, I think I would be interested in knowing a district council in Uganda where this matter has been tabled in the district council to inform everybody that we are getting a new investor for ABCD. Can you table one? Just one.
Right Honorable, I am telling you exactly how the law is, because when it goes to the chief district administrator, he is supposed to lay to the council to tell those people, these people are going to carry out this. If there is omission, which they have done, then we shall do that.
You know, Honourable Minister, you have been on this floor a number of occasions on this issue. Members have complained that so-called investors just appear with their cars, with their security. This is the complaint. The ideal is the law. What is the practice? Members are not informed, leaders are not informed. And that's how they even take our land. When will the people of Uganda's interests be taken first? Tell us.
Thank you, Right Honorable. The law as it was drafted, we are reviewing it so that it comes here and we put if there are any lacunas. Otherwise, how it is drafted, the papers are taken there and should go there. And I've always been asking my staff, do you go to see these areas? They tell me they have gone to Namaingo, they have gone where, to make sure these complaints are minimized.
When is the law coming? When is the law coming, since you are amending?
I may not say the date, but very soon. Yes, just maybe one month or 2 months we'll be here, because we are still putting other issues together and we'll bring to you, and you will debate this so that we correct the whole anomalies which would be existing.
I think by the time you come, many Ugandans will just be dead. Okay, Honorable.
Some clarification.
But he has gone. He has gone.
No, he's around. He's around.
On what? We have finished the matters of national importance. Yes. No, I had the list. Quickly, close. Then I invite the Minister for Health.
Thank you, Madam. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I noticed that day in, day out, we raise issues and you find that they have to do with matters over which we have previously legislated or passed resolutions as Parliament, meaning that the implementation becomes questionable. I'm of the view that you get us an interactive session with our ministers, specifically to interact on service delivery, so that we can raise these things. Because every time, for example, last Thursday, we had questions. Protect me, Madam Speaker.
Order.
I understand this is the platform, but the problem is this. Last Thursday, we had questions that were supposed to be answered by several ministers. One of the questions relates to my road, to a road in my district, which question I wrote in March. We are going into October. I've had no answer. I would like a session specifically which is interactive, whether within Parliament or out of Parliament, for us to raise issues regarding service delivery.
Okay. Let's think about it. Now let's have item 3, Minister of Health. Minister of Health, item 3.
Item 3, statement on the operationalization of Mulago Specialized Women and Neonatal Hospital.
You are usurping the role of the Minister of Health. Okay, quickly, and then the Minister. Yes?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I would need the Attorney General to disengage you, to not engage you, because this is very important. Madam Speaker, I stand here to thank you because today I really want to tell you that your efforts of the House have culminated into yesterday's signing of Konjiri Kanungu Historical Road. Madam Speaker, I want to thank you very much, and I want to thank the entire House and the Ministry of Works, General Katumba, that yesterday a company called China Henan International Corporation Group Company Limited was signed an agreement between government of Uganda and them to work on the Rukunjiri Kanungu Road, kilometer or 75.8 kilometers, 78.5 kilometers, and the amount of Uganda shillings 207 billion 834 million 646,967 Uganda shillings. Madam Speaker, why I am proudly standing here to thank you and the entire House is that it has been a concerted effort to deliver this project, because I don't know how many meetings I've held here and outside here over this same project. Madam Speaker, my prayer on this is that the causes of delay of this project since 1988 are avoidable. And therefore, I call upon the ministry to guard against these unnecessary whistleblowers who are in the government. And also this order from above syndrome is killing the institutional order. Madam Speaker, as we move forward to achieving our progressive goals, Madam Speaker, I would really think that the tourism network should be incorporated in a plan such that we realize full potential of tourism economic progress. Madam Speaker, I request also that this China company should respect the local content which you have yourselves championed here, such that the people in those areas can benefit from this project. Also, Madam Speaker, I request that the network to Gindi be expedited, such that the tourism network, the tourism circuit is completed. I salute you, Madam Speaker, and I want to thank you, colleagues, for this wonderful achievement. Thank you very much.
Honourable members, I think on behalf of the House, we want to congratulate the people for Kanungu. This has been a perennial issue every session in this House, this road. Minister, thank you. Finally, Minister, thank you. Yes. Minister of Health.
Madam Speaker and honorable members.
Order, order. Minister of Health is on the floor.
Allow me to thank you for this opportunity you've given me to make a statement to honorable members on the operationalization of Mulago Specialized Women and Neonatal Hospital or Newborn Hospital. Madam Speaker, in the financial year 2014-15, the Parliament of Uganda, that was the 9th Parliament, approved 3 loans for health infrastructure construction and rehabilitation. And these were 1, construction of Women and Neonatal Hospital, 2, rehabilitation of Lower Mulago Hospital, and 3, construction of Kawempe and Chirudu referral hospitals. Right, Honorable Speaker and honorable members, I'm here to give accountability for the loan that was provided for the Women and Neonatal Hospital and to invite you, Right Honorable Speaker and all the honorable members, to go and inspect this hospital. Madam Speaker, allow me to thank you for your passion for this hospital and for steering the approval of the loan at that time. Allow me also to thank members of Parliament, especially the 9th Parliament that passed the loan, and all the stakeholders that have supported the construction of this hospital. Right Honorable Speaker, as a background to the loan, by 2009, Mulago National Referral Hospital was heavily congested. All the departments experienced the congestion, but the situation was worse in the women's section of delivery and management of diseases related to women. Women were occupying all the beds, the floor, and the corridors with increased rates of infection. And the situation was not any better in the children's section, with 3 to 4 children sharing a bed. In addition, the population growth rate remained high at 3.3%, and the fertility rate then was at 6.2%. This is UDHS 2006. Available information shows that the number of deliveries increased from 20,000, this is in Mulago, in the year 2000, to 33,000 in 2011. And in financial year 2013-14, the antenatal attendance was 48,616. Deliveries were 34,411, with a cesarean section rate of 23.5%. In financial year 15-16, antenatal attendance had risen to 60,902. Deliveries were at 35,071. And the cesarean section rate had risen to 26.8%. At the same time, the infrastructure had undergone wear and tear, and renovation would no longer support the huge numbers. Maternal mortality at that time remained high, and to date it is still high at 336 per 100,000. That is Uganda Demographic Health Survey 2016, compared to the global rate of 216 per 100,000 live births. Our neonatal mortality stands at 27 per 1,000 live births, and it is the greatest contributor to the still high childhood mortality at 54 per 100,000 live births. A decongestion plan at that time was drawn for Mulago, and it included referral facilities in all divisions of Kampala and a separate facility for women and newborns. The Women and Newborn Hospital will therefore help to decongest Mulago National Specialized Hospital, enable women with complicated reproductive health problems to be treated, and reduce referrals abroad for specialized reproductive and neonatal treatment. This is anticipated to contribute to the attainment of the health-related Sustainable Development Goals. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, the government of Uganda therefore acquired a loan to construct the hospital, procure equipment, and also train a few selected health workers in specialized maternal and neonatal areas. Construction of Mulago Specialized Women and Neonatal Hospital has been completed at a cost of $25,148,67 US. It is a 450-bed capacity hospital with 9 floors. The 9th floor is the executive wing with suites. The hospital acquired equipment for highly specialized health care in the areas of imaging, including mammography, fluoroscopy, X-ray Bucky machine, and 4D ultrasound. I have attached a copy and annex to my presentation showing the list of equipment. We also acquired laboratory equipment, and a few that I mentioned here include the DNA analyzer, hematology and chemistry analyzers, in vitro fertilization equipment, and hemoglobin electrophoresis for sickle cell disease. We have surgical equipment, including laparoscopy, hysteroscopy, surgical sets, and endoscopy, and critical care equipment, including ventilators, defibrillators, and patient monitors. All these cost US $8,026,456.7. The loan was also used to finance the training of a few selected health workers in specialized maternal and neonatal areas where there were skill gaps, and I have also attached a list of the health workers that were trained. Training was also carried out in management and clinical excellencies, including leadership, governance, and basic computer skills. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, the services to be offered by the specialized hospital have been mapped out, and these include 1, reproductive medicine, including assisted reproductive technologies, laparoscopic and hysteroscopic surgeries. If I may explain a little bit, laparoscopic, these are where we have the pinhole surgeries. 2, maternal fetal medicine, where they will be attending to women with high-risk pregnancies, like diabetic mothers, sickle cell mothers, twin pregnancies, pregnancies with other complications, and so on. Women who have organ transplant, and women with recurrent pregnancy loss, as well as in vitro fertilization pregnancies. The third will be urogynecological services. This addresses the urinary area of the women, including ureteric reimplantations, complex fistula surgeries, and vaginal hysterectomies, reconstructive surgeries following female genital mutilation, and advanced reconstructive gynecological surgery. The fourth are the gyn oncologies. These are cancers to do with women that include cervical, vaginal, endometrial, ovarian, and valvular cancers. And the last is the advanced neonatal medical and surgical services. Right Honorable Speaker, the hospital will be financed through monies appropriated by Parliament, but we shall also be charging for services offered. A total of Uganda shillings 44,437,282,341 is required to operationalize the hospital. Staffing will be as per structures of referral hospitals, and this has already been worked on. I have given a breakdown in a table form showing the financial requirement for the hospital, where wage is about 8.4 billion Uganda shillings, which is 75% of the annual wage catering for the remaining 3 quarters. And I have looked at 3 quarters because we have already completed 1 quarter of the financial year. Recurrent non-wage requires a total of 22 billion. We propose to get 5.9 billion from government of Uganda and to collect about 16 billion as non-tax revenue. This will also cover for medicines, sundries, specialized staff training and research, and support additional expatriates to the hospital. The third is capital development, where we propose about 1.2 billion from government, 12.7 billion from non-tax revenue, giving a total of 13.8 billion. Therefore, the total required for the hospital is 44,437,282,341. Right, Honorable Speaker, I have also attached a pay policy, since I have mentioned that we'll be charging for services. And regarding the pay policy, we have classified the services as standard services, VIP, and VVIP. This does not stop anyone from opting for any of the levels. Anyone is free if they can afford the VVIP or the VIP or the standard. You choose wherever you want to go. The clinical services offered to all patients at all levels, irrespective of pay, will be the same. The difference will be in accommodation, patient welfare, and other non-clinical and support services. The charges we arrived at after examining the costs of similar services within the country and, where possible, a comparison with similar services abroad. Right, Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, I have attached a copy of the pay policy, and I have also included a column which gives a comparison of services that are being offered within the country. On average...
Honourable Member, can you allow the Minister to finish? She's making a statement.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. On average, the standard rates are slightly equivalent to 60% of the charges in other hospitals, meaning that our charges are much less than the hospitals in the country, including Nakasero, IHK, and many others. The charges for standard services will be used as a basis for increment for VIPs and VVIPs, where we shall increase for the VIPs by 25% and for the VVIPs by 50% respectively. However, diagnostics, that is imaging and laboratory, intensive care units and neonatal intensive care unit services will be same across all classifications. Right, Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, there will be a waiver system for patients unable to pay for services. A system for waiver will be put in place. It was recommended that a committee be set up to assess the eligibility of patients seeking a waiver. And the committee will comprise of a head of clinical services at the hospital, that is the deputy director, a nurse in charge of the unit, as I have highlighted on the specialty services, a medical social worker, and head of administration. This committee will develop guidelines on the eligibility criteria. Staff working in the facility who require specialized services in the facility will be given a waiver. These are health workers, except for in vitro fertilization services. Refugees requiring services at the facility will be paid for by supporting agencies like UNHCR, the Office of the Prime Minister, but foreigners will be charged 25% more for services. Right, Honorable Speaker, I've included this because we have been receiving requests to treat refugees, and we have been doing this free of charge. But for this particular unit, we have proposed that they should be paid for. Patients accessing services should be referred patients from our referral facilities, except for those that are exclusively offered at Mulago Specialized Women and Neonatal Hospital, such as in vitro fertilization and laparoscopic surgery. This statement means that for one to access the hospital, they should be referred from the other facilities. We have developed a communication strategy to promote the services at the facility. Some of the strategies suggested for marketing the facilities will include hosting teams from referring institutions so that they are aware of these facilities. We shall also host stakeholders like the insurance organizations that provide medical and health insurance cover so that they are conversant with what is in this hospital. Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, the hospital was open to the public yesterday, 17th, and as given by His Excellency the President, a free service will be offered to the people until Independence Day. So for all patients who started reporting yesterday up to Independence Day, the services are free to them. And Right Honorable Speaker, allow me to report that we have already received several patients, including those who want in vitro fertilization. I think we have received over 20 who want in vitro fertilization. Sources of funding for the hospital, I have given a breakdown. Because Mulago Specialized Hospital is not yet open, Mulago has been supporting Kawempe Kirudu and Upper Mulago. Mulago will also support the Women's Hospital. We propose to collect non-tax revenue, about 28.9 billion, and we also propose that we are given a supplementary budget to facilitate this hospital at about 7.2 billion, giving us a total of 44.4 billion. Right Honorable Speaker, my request, this is to inform you that construction has been concluded and handover to the ministry took place on the 13th of September, presided over by the Right Honorable Prime Minister, accompanied by cabinet members. Equipping and training of a few selected staff have been undertaken in management and governance. We trained 75, and clinical specialist services, we trained 33. Steps to operationalize the hospital are ongoing. Right Honorable Speaker, it is my humble appeal that you take off time together with the honorable members, visit and tour this hospital and assess it for value for money, and also look at the infrastructure and for yourself see the accountability that I am giving you on paper. The hospital was opened yesterday, as I have informed you, honorable members, and we are utilizing this week to inform the public about the facility. The hospital will be commissioned as part of the Independence Day celebrations between the 5th to the 7th October of this year. Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to move. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Honourable Minister of Health. First, I want to pay tribute to the National Women's Council, because these ideas began in the National Women's Council. They then came here. At that time, we had the Committee on Social Services. We took them up, and I want to thank government for responding. It's been a long journey, but there's now really a lot of hope for the people of Uganda. So, Minister, thank you so much. Finance, thank you for providing the money. And Minister, thank you for supervising until the facility has been done. Let's have just a few comments. Okay, I think let's go to Wundiwujo. We got presidential. 1, 2, 3. Can we do 1 minute or 2 minutes? 2. Let's start from Wundiwujo. 2 minutes. 2 minutes, Babiku. 2 minutes, Violet. There. Yeah. Okay. 2. All of you. Then I come this side.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. I raise up to commend the Minister of Health, who has just presented a report on the Women's and Neonatal Hospital, the first of its kind in the country. We are really grateful. We thank the government and all those who contributed to acquire the loan Now, those are the efforts and the fruits which we are already going to enjoy. I'm happy to note that among the services, Honorable Minister, which are going to be offered, there are also those of, for example, reconstructive surgeries, which we really lacked in the country. And my prayer is people should get more sensitized so that they are aware that the services are there. And of course, handling the different types of cancers which affect the women and which are common these days. Also, this is going to reduce on the burden of traveling abroad to get the same services. But above all, my prayers are that we should get the 44 billion and 437 million you are talking about to complete the necessary equipment and all that is required so that we can maintain the facility and put it to good use. Then also the money the patients will be.
Ona Babiku, then Violet, then Beatrice Rakimari. I get this group here.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I want to commend government, Parliament, and all other stakeholders for this service, which we are going to get. Right Honourable Speaker, the Minister raised the issue of clients being generated by referral as a method. Right Honourable Speaker, we need to retrospectively then evaluate the status of our health centers. Because in many of the health centers, we don't have gynecologists. If they can address that, meaning that many of the rural people will also be able to really benefit from this service that women of this country have been yearning for. The minister said the charges for the specialized services are going to be low. Right Honourable Speaker, we are going to be the contact persons as usual. Our voters will first call us to know the rates. Therefore, I will request, as he has done, to give us a feedback. She should come and tell us the rates. It cannot be specific, but averagely for each of the services. Because saying that, okay, thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. If the rates have been attached, that's fine. 2, 3, she talked about waivers that are going to be there. Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, waivers have often been abused. Therefore, when the committee is constituted, we need to have the list of the membership.
Okay, Honourable Violet, then Rakimari, quickly.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, allow me to add my voice to thank the Minister for the statement that she has made before us. I have 1 or 2 concerns that I wanted to bring forth. The first concern that I wanted to bring forward to the Minister of Health is about the seriousness of the ministry. Looking at the Sustainable Development Goals, I just want to read it verbatim, that by 2030, reduce the global maternal mortality ratio to less than 70%, 70 per 100,000 live births. She's just given us a scenario here that currently the situation is quite worrying. We are having 336 women dying out of this child mortality, out of the 100,000 live births. I wanted to find out how soon are we going to reduce, focusing on the Sustainable Development Goals. While we're targeting by 2030, we should actually have less than 70 women dying out of child mortality. I see our number is still so high that we may not be able even to meet these sustainable development goals. And then looking at all the strategies, you've spent resources we got alone. You've had specialized training for nurses and doctors on this maternal health. But I think the biggest challenge that we have as a country, whenever these people are trained, we never bond, is it bonding? That when they get opportunities to go out, we don't even look at it that we actually got a loan to train them. They will just go and would have wasted resources, a lot of money training or getting these specialized skills. And as long as we shall not facilitate them, we shall not remunerate them, they will always go to other countries where they will be paid well. We just need an assurance from the ministry that these nurses, these doctors that we have given this specialized training, that we shall actually have them within the country and be able to provide.
Honorable Rakimari Okot Onzima Kayinza. Then I get this group here. Then I come this way.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to thank the Honorable Minister for this statement, but also thank government and Parliament for appropriating this money to build a women's hospital. Madam Speaker, I just need assurance from the Honorable Minister about maintaining this equipment and maintaining the hospital. Honorable members, you know the poor culture of maintenance in this country, and therefore, I would like the minister to assure me that this equipment will be properly maintained. Secondly, Madam Speaker, it is very good to have these hospitals and many more health facilities, but buildings without human resource for health will be wasted. It is not enough to have good buildings. It is equally important to have the health workers to work in these facilities, because we all know that the poor remuneration in this country for health workers is a very big concern. Recruitment and retention of health workers in this country is wanting, and therefore I want to call upon government to look seriously into the issue of remuneration for our health workers. Otherwise, we shall have a beautiful hospital without these highly specialized workers to work in. Lastly, my colleague has talked about the high maternal mortality in this country. Honorable Minister, we still lose 16 women in this country every day, dying from pregnancy and related causes. And therefore, we need to look seriously into reducing maternal mortality in this country, and I feel that
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity. I also want to thank the Minister for the statement. Right Honorable Speaker, there is a saying that health is wealth. Right Honorable Speaker, I noticed in the presentation, in the statement, that this facility is an all-pay facility. Now, Right Honorable Speaker, what worries me is that what happens to the citizens' right to health, especially through free government medical services. Right Honorable Speaker, this is a specialized referral unit. And I've noticed, for instance, in the rates where it is indicated that a plain X-ray will cost 30,000 shillings. Right Honorable Speaker, in my district in Tororo, that's the cost that private facilities are charging for similar X-ray services. And the people there cannot afford. The peasants can't afford. When somebody is referred to the hospital, and the hospital refers the person for this X-ray at 30,000 shillings, it's you, the member of parliament, to foot that cost. If you don't, the person just goes back to the village. Now, I'm seeing a situation here. Supposing a patient is referred from Tororo Hospital because must come to a specialized unit here, and the fellow does not have money. I am aware that there is a waiver. Is it a waiver system? But that does not give a guarantee to a poor patient that that she will get the waiver. There is no guarantee, and that may create fear in the patients. So we may miss out on Ugandans getting.
Onzima, then Kayinza.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. Madam Speaker, I want to thank the Minister for the report, but I have the following. This is a specialized hospital where one has to access services through referral. I wanted to know whether most of these hospitals in Uganda have the required specialists who can pay attention to those various health conditions such that they're able to refer. Because if these specialists do not exist in other regions, how will those people with these kind of cases access these services? Two, I have a problem with the costs here. Madam Speaker, when you look at 60% of the cost to be charged, looking into it in terms of the private hospitals are private in the sense that the buildings are private, the equipments are private, the salaries are being paid privately, but this is a government institution where the building is constructed by government, though through loan, the workers are going to be paid by government, the equipment is got by government. Isn't this charge too high? For example, consultation here is said to be 50,000. And this is the same consultation in a private institution. What makes this to be a government institution? Here they are saying at some level you can pay like 100,000. I know of hospitals where you go, if you want to pay ordinary consultation, you pay 50. But if you want what they call express, you pay 100. So what is the difference here? For example, when you look at antenatal services, you go there, you are supposed to pay 890. Most time.
Kayinza, then Kangwaje.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I congratulate the Ministry of Health and the Government of Uganda upon completion of this facility, and I believe it will help us a long way in attainment of Sustainable Development Goal 3, where we shall have less than 70 mothers dying per 100,000 who give birth. Right, Honorable Minister, for the past 6 months, we've requested the Ministry of Health to bring the maternal mortality audits. Remember, in the 9th Parliament, it was one of the requirements that I think after a year, we should have these audits brought to Parliament so that we can deliberate on them. So, yeah, I request you look into that, especially now that you're even having such facilities to help us move towards attainment of SDG 3. Secondly, about the services the hospital is going to offer, we have the in vitro fertilization. As a country, we don't have the law that is governing such a facility at the moment, such a service, because in future we are going to have issues, for instance, of parenthood. What happens to someone who will donate the sperms? What happens to the remaining? If one has been utilized, what happens to the rest? Then parenthood. Who is it? The donor, the one who donated? Have they gotten the right of fatherhood? And the children also in future might want to know who the biological parents are or who the donor parents were. So we need to look into such things. And maybe as Africans, we also need to know maybe who these donors are, because we don't promote incest. So in case some of these issues are not clearly brought out in the law, they might sabotage the services which are going to be offered by such a facility. And Honorable Minister, this hospital is going to be a referral.
Kangwaje, Kunihira, Namboso, then I come here. I'm coming. You want to speak?
Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you for the opportunity given to me. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the Minister for her good report, and at the same time, I want to thank Parliament and the government for having utilized their own very well. Right Honorable Speaker, now that we have received this facility, government is going to benefit a lot. because we have been having patients from Uganda going to India, for example, and pay a lot of money there. But now we are going to be paying some little money, much as we need also to look at it, because my colleague has talked about on the consultation fee, which is maybe at 50,000, which is totally the same like when you go to a private hospital. It is the same money you pay. So it would be better if you can reduce on that amount of money. Another thing, wait, my colleague, wait. Right Honourable Speaker, I want to inform the Minister that it would be better if you had to consider people who are going to be working in those hospitals, let's say that hospital of Murago, you consider Ugandans. We have young people who are specialized, well experienced, well trained, but they are on the street. It would be better when they come, you consider them without having any challenge or without really delaying them. Madam Speaker, allow me to thank you again, because when this law was passed in 9th Parliament, you used that time, you used this Parliament, you allowed our people to get that money, and now we are enjoying the facility, and I want to thank government and the Minister at large. I beg to submit.
Now, Kunihira, then Nambozo. Kunihira, Nambozo, then I come here. Yes, I'm coming down. Then I'll.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I would like to thank the Minister for her report and also for inviting us to visit the facilities. Right Honourable Speaker, the Minister has mentioned in this report that patients accessing the facilities should be referred from other hospitals. I think there should be a provision to allow individuals who are able to pay have been established using taxpayers' money. And we hope the ordinary person should benefit, not only those people who have been going to India and these other countries to access these facilities. They should be purely for the ordinary person. There are many people who have not benefited, maybe getting children. We hope by establishing this hospital, they should benefit. Thank you so much.
Wamara Nambozo.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I want to thank the Minister and the other ministers for the good work well done, and the government. Madam Speaker, we thank you so much, because so many times it's you who has been ensuring that government works the way it is supposed to work as you help us deliberate here. I'm looking at the table showing financial requirement for the hospital, and the annual budget for the hospital is 44.4 billion, and already the minister also showed us here that we need a supplementary, or one that has already been given to them, of 7 billion. And Madam Speaker, we are already in the second quarter of the year. How is, do we require this 7 billion as a supplementary for the hospital to run? Then secondly, I'm looking at the specialized doctors recruited. One of the doctors, called Dr. Kaziwe, is, I think, now heading the Kawempe Hospital. How are we working out to show that what we are presenting here is true? Thank you very much.
Kahonda, Mpamizo, Butemba, Janasio. Kahonda there.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker.
I'm coming.
Right Honourable Speaker, I'm emphasizing the issue of affordability, well knowing that in most cases we have faced the challenge of the patients in our constituencies demanding members of parliament actually to contribute for them in order to access some of the services. Right Honourable Speaker, Government of Uganda, when we are talking about the HIV prevention, we are now looking at HIV-free testing. Here in this report, the Honourable Minister is saying they will be charging 25,000 just for HIV screening. Yet in other facilities, including private health facilities, it is free of charge. And now in this case, it's going to be charged. Looking at other tests, Right Honorable Speaker, it is going to be very expensive compared to some of these health facilities that we have around, like Rubaga, even Mengo. So, Right Honorable Speaker, I pray that we look into the cost effectiveness of this facility. I thank you.
Honorable Mpamizo, then comes Janasio Baba, then I come this side.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I thank the Minister for coming up with this report and for the work done to supervise works in that facility. Madam Speaker, when we visited that facility as a Committee of Health, they told us that there was a component of telemedicine. And today the Minister has not commented about it. I don't know how it disappeared. And if it is there, have we already had partners whom we shall partner with in order to have that dream realized? Madam Speaker, also, where that facility is, I remember there were nurses' hostels which were demolished in order to establish that. So how are we going to accommodate our staff, Madam Minister, so that we have that facility full-time operational? Madam Speaker, I also have to re-echo the fact that this facility has been built on loaned money, and as if all Ugandans are supposed to pay this loan. So when it is going to be accessed only by the rich, I feel cheated. I pray that we consider cost sharing instead of saying it is fully on the burden of the sick patient. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker and honourable members, I want to thank government for this achievement. This is a first of its kind in this country. And I want to thank you, Madam Speaker, and God, because this has happened in your leadership. Madam Speaker, this is wonderful. Now, Madam Speaker, this is a national referral hospital. And I presume that all patients that come here, unless otherwise, should have been referred from other health facilities. So I am seeing a scenario where people are going to be referred from down in Chankwanzi, up there in Kamuri, and they come and get stranded around the hospital because they cannot meet this consultation fee. Madam Speaker, since it is a referral hospital, then there shouldn't be a need of asking where are you from when they have a medical form that they bring to the facility. Secondly, Madam Speaker, when you look at the prices, I have been looking at the simplest and life-saving procedure, like dilatation and curettage. This is a minor procedure that is done to help somebody who has had an incomplete abortion, to help get out the contents of the uterus. And this happens majorly because of the numerous teenage pregnancies that we have in Uganda. But it requires 250,000, of course, in addition to the 50 for the consultation, for a young person who is in danger of losing life to be treated at a government national referral hospital. Madam Speaker, when I look at a cesarean section, a procedure done to help a mother deliver who has not been able to deliver normally, 2 million, the people of Chankwanzi, and indeed those of Kamuri, Madam Speaker, shall not benefit from this facility. In fact, those who have been able to go to India, to go to these big hospitals in Uganda, are the only ones going to enjoy. When every Ugandan, including my people of Chankwanzi, is sweating to pay their own. Madam Speaker, I humbly request government to introduce the National Health Insurance Scheme. All people.
Then Onababa, then I come to Abala, Adulu. I'm coming this side now.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. I thank the Minister for the report, and I thank Government of Uganda and Parliament for having appropriated this money to put up this infrastructure. Madam Speaker,
members, there's another sitting there.
Madam Speaker, this is a very important facility for the country, a specialized hospital to treat Ugandans. Madam Speaker, many Ugandans have been going abroad for specialized treatment. India, Kenya, South Africa, name them. It's very important to have this facility here to help the Ugandans, and we save them, the Ugandan taxpayers' money. My worry, Madam Speaker, is on the pay policy. The minister has mentioned that Ugandans are going to be paying some money, which is okay, but my worry is the money is a little bit higher for a common Ugandan to pay that money to access the services. Madam Speaker, I would be much more happy and comfortable to revise the figures mentioned by the minister for Ugandans to access these services.
Honourable members, you know, when the phone rings, it vibrates into this microphone. Whose phone is that?
Madam Speaker, there are many health facilities in this country which have been built using Ugandan taxpayers' money, Ugandan money, including health facilities in our constituencies. In Kashonji County, where I come from, there is a health center.
Baba, then Abala.
Right, Honorable Speaker, like those who spoke before me, I also want to thank the Minister of Health, the government, and you yourself, Right Honorable Speaker, for making this establishment of ultra-modern hospital for the women be realized. We want to congratulate government and everybody for that. The central issue of concern that has been raised now has been affordability, especially for those from the rural areas, the women from the rural areas. The minister in our presentation told us that the 9th floor of this hospital is going to be a private wing, and for the paying patients, those who can afford. But the woman from Chankwanzi, from deep down in Kasese, Busongora, from Koboko, in the rural areas of Chakulia, may not afford it. I wish, therefore, to suggest that first, access to medical care should be automatic without question of asking for money. Any patient referred to this hospital must first be provided with medical attention before asking for money. 2, those who will not be able to afford completely should be subsidized by these people on the 9th floor. Those should be the ones to pay for those who cannot afford. I'm sure government can make that arrangement possible so that those who are not able to afford can receive medical attention. I thank you.
Abala Angel Duru, then I go to Nzogu.
Madam Speaker, I want to thank you so much for giving the opportunity. I want to thank the Minister for this report, and this is a proper accountability. I wish all the ministers were doing like this, and maybe they would be seeing some proper clear understanding of the future. Number 2, Madam Speaker, one thing that I want, despite the good things that have been there, that have been done, I'm worried. My people from Ngora, those who come from the village, they will not be able to benefit from this facility. Because as you know, poverty has increased by 17%. That's a big percentage, Madam Speaker. Now, given the fact that the figures available here, I am sure my people are going to be locked off, and yet this money is a loan. Everybody is going to pay. And this type of, I call it this discrimination in terms of its management. This is a technical way of discriminating Ugandans, especially the poor ones. And that's, Madam Speaker, my appeal to the ministry is to remember that for us who are here because of those people. If those people were not there, I'm sure and confident none of us will be here. Madam Speaker, my view here, then the other thing that I'm worried, you know, they are saying they will train some few health workers. Now, when we talk about some few, it means a selected team from within Kampala city. Those in Kamuli, I do not know whether they're here. Those from Ngora, I don't know whether they've been trained. Those from Karamoja, I don't know whether they've benefited. And this is the issue that I'm concerned. As a member of Parliament, Madam Speaker,
Zogu?
Yes.
And then you don't speak. Then we'll go to our team, Sentongo, Odur. You know, I've seen all of you. All of you are going to speak. It's an important matter where we'll give you.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. I am extremely happy about this exciting report that we have received this afternoon. I hope the excitement that we have taken from this report will be carried forward to the level of implementation so that we really benefit. And I hope it's not going to be benefit that will be received by a certain class of people only. Madam Speaker, it's very unfortunate that several ministries have made several exciting plans, including equipments like today. Unfortunately, when it reaches level of implementation, you don't see what excited you some few minutes ago. As if we were making a drama, and now we're facing the reality, and that's why things appear to be like that. It's very unfortunate. To make matters worse, where fee that we're talking about in terms of money is involved, it makes the whole thing complicated in 2-3 different ways. First of all, collection of that money alone is problematic. Secondly, classifying the people who will be receiving the services is another. So, Madam Speaker, we should have classes, just like the government has levels of government. We have several government, I mean central government here. We have upper.
Then we go to.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker.
Waira, Odur. Then I'll get the group there. Yes.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, one of the members on this side said, if it were not because of women, all of us would not be here, Right Honourable Speaker. And there are certain things that we can compromise about, but issues to do with the health of women, we must all stand up and say the women must have their rights, whether they have money or not. Right Honourable Speaker, the Minister, of course, has stated the process in terms of referrals for someone to be able to get to that health facility. The assumption is that when you are referred there, then you should have the capacity to pay, which is not true, Right Honourable Speaker, because in the referral system, whether you are poor or rich, for as long as your case cannot be handled at the lower level, you will end up there. So the question is, Right Honourable Speaker, that what would be addressing ourselves to as Parliament? One is the staff, the specialized staff, who will be working there. How does government motivate them? That's fundamental, Right Honourable Speaker. Two, that for those ones, especially to cater for the different regions of this country, Right Honourable Speaker, I have looked at the list of the staff who have so far accessed training, but you realize that there are those staff
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to thank the Minister for the statement she has just made. And I want to thank government
most especially for this loan. Several loans we approve and you don't see the outcome, but this particular one, Madam Speaker, I think we have to appreciate you, we appreciate the ministry, and appreciate government for the work well done. Madam Speaker, I just wanted the minister to tell this House clearly how this women's hospital is going to address or how it's going to curb down the rate of maternal mortality and neonatal. Well aware that she has appreciated that it is still on a higher side. How will this help us? Because it is like we are coming from fire to a frying pan, Madam Speaker. A poor woman who has been referred from Lira Regional Referral Hospital coming to this facility and cannot afford to pay, meaning she has to die. How, transport-wise and otherwise? I don't know how you are going to help in this case. But in her case, she said that the women and neonatal hospital will therefore help decongest Mulago National Specialized Hospital. Yes, we appreciate. And you said it's going to reduce those who used to go abroad. Have you given us the number of those who used to access these facilities abroad compared to those who have it in Uganda and are dying? Why can't we help these people so that we reduce the neonatal and maternal mortality? Above all, Madam Speaker, the issue of fistula, it is the young girls, the under 8.
I think that's an important point. Just complete it.
Madam Speaker, the issue of fistula, it is the young girls, the underage who have been defiled are the ones who cannot push their babies and end up by having fistula. But in this case, they are going to be charged so much money. In most cases, our children are taken up to Mbarara, transport, feeding, and the rest of it for them to be corrected. We felt this was to rescue our girls, but it is not helping us. How shall we help our girls and our women in this country? And above all, pap smear, Madam Speaker, biopsy, being charged highly, major procedures, 2.5 million. Do we mean to say that they were not done in a Mulago so that it can be done in the specialized facility, the women's facility? The doctors will now fold their hands. They will not work there. They will want to be handled, to handle patients from there because there is payment on the other side. Can you address that one, Madam? Can she address that one before it's late? Thank you.
Now, Robina, then Lucy, Odul, then I get the cluster there and then come down. All of you will speak.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I'd like to add my voice to the rest of the members in this House, to the Minister for this fantastic presentation and for this fantastic facility that excited most of us when we had it before we went down deep into the issues. In this country, we have categories of facilities. We have public facilities, Right Honorable Speaker, and some public facilities have got some private wings. We have purely private facilities. We have private, not-for-profit facilities. And here comes an opportunity of a public facility, which is now I would like to learn from the minister. Is this a public-private facility? Because when you go deep into the services that are going to be provided, and when you compare the facilities that are being provided by our friends, private, not-for-profit, we give an example for VVF. They try their best to fundraise and provide a free service. We have services for counseling. I've been overwhelmed by seeing a fee on counseling. At counseling, 40,000 in a public facility. HIV screening in a public facility is being charged. And here is our president coming with the first.
Okay, Honorable Lucy, then Odur, then Okin, Waira, Kiptetir, now what? Then I get this group.
Thank you.
I've seen all of you. I've seen all of you.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to also add my voice in thanking the Minister for bringing this very important statement to the House. I will start with what I would call discrimination, which is anyway real. When I read about this and I saw this the other time, and then I remembered this young girl who was in Amuro, just 21 years, tried to go to the hospital, which is Lacho Hospital, St. Mary's Hospital, which is almost one of the best in the region, and then she loses her life and then leaves a baby behind, just because of something very small. We have also had cases where hospitals such as Kawempe, Chirudu are struggling with simple things as having oxygen, which has cost so many lives. So my only challenge and the clarification I want from the Minister is whether we will not prioritize as a country this VIP or the VVIP as opposed to these normal facilities that will handle the common man and the common woman. Now, this also brings me to the question, Madam Speaker. As a country, I think we need to fast-track the national insurance policy so that my mother, who is in Amuro, if she's referred to this specialized hospital, then the insurance policy can then take care of this cost.
No, Odur, Ojara, Waira.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Then I come to that group.
I also want to join in thanking
just sit, don't worry.
The Minister of Health for bringing this update. I think it's encouraging to Parliament once we receive updates on projects. I want to start by questioning the basis for the 25% for foreigners over and above what you charge nationals. I have observed that the figures you have quoted for nationals are a discount of 50% to about 70 from what is charged in the market. Now, why should a foreigner come here for a service that is 10 million just because a local is charged 5 million and then they charge them 7.5? Why not 100% or even more? I would like to get clarification why we are charging nationals only 25% over what you are charging Ugandans. Secondly, it appears to me we have a hospital within a hospital, because this is a specialized hospital, but it is also under Mulago National Referral Hospital. That's why in the appropriation from Parliament, we are appropriating for Mulago National Referral Hospital, but you are also requesting us to give money to this unit. So do we have two entities operating in one, or you can clarify? Lastly, this costing, who developed the policy and what will happen after 1 year? Who has that ultimate authority of revising? Because right now we can go for the rates that are here, but what happens if you want to adjust for inflation? So do we have a committee? Is it the minister with the prerogative, or who is going to be revising from time to time? Because if the basis is on the standards that are in the market, supposing the market...
Now, Ojara, Waira, Kiptetir.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Get this group here.
Let me also thank the Minister for this report. But on a similar vein, I want to interest the Minister to give us the bigger picture of the objective of setting this facility. I think it's good you have said that you have in mind the Sustainable Development Goal. Now, if you have in mind Sustainable Development Goal, it therefore wants you to draw back and see your mendes operandi in terms of achieving Sustainable Development Goal. You know, the majority of our people have little access to air facilities, and the majority are the poor. And your objective is actually Sustainable Development Goal. So how you are going to achieve this if you commercialize the operation of this health facility. I think maybe you need to get a bigger picture to guide you in terms of how you should move ahead in terms of operationalizing. Then number two, Madam Speaker, we are moving to almost 100% liberalization for the simple fact that most of the entities being managed by the government have always had problems. I want the minister to satisfy herself and also certify us whether these facilities is going to be 100% managed effectively. If it is not, then I would think maybe you need to consider the use of PPP for you to effectively manage it. Then thirdly, Madam Speaker, I want to draw my experience from Gulu.
Honorable Waira, then Kiptetil, Nawat, Wekomba, Atiku, okay, we'll go. Yeah. Okay, Achai, and then we'll come down.
And I want to thank the Minister for updating us. Honorable Minister, your Minister of State last week was here, and she told us that doctors are being absent because of low pay. In other words, she's officially telling the doctors that they can be away because of a little pay. Now, Honorable Minister, how are you going to ensure that these doctors don't run away from where there is little pay and they come and jam up here where there is money they are seeing? And after all, the facility is based on a referral. If these doctors are not in those hospitals, up-country hospitals, who is going to refer these patients to this facility? And the Honorable Minister, you are aware that this government has so many buildings which were built 10 years ago. By that time, you were at the center of it, I remember. They were built 10 years ago to be health center tools. Those buildings are just there, idle. Because these Kampala people, they would enjoy this facility when the villagers are enjoying those small facilities. Now your ministry is not taking care of those small facilities which are there, and all the money is being put here in Kampala. The Minister of Finance should not engage you. Honorable Minister, how are you going to ensure that these facilities, the health center tools, which
give to your neighbor, then Honorable Nawat, then they will come back, Achai, Atiku, then I come down.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. I'd like also to take this opportunity to thank the Minister for the statement. I'd like also to congratulate government for putting such a great facility. I think now this medical tourism will stop, that people travel to India, to US, to Canada, to get such a facility. You can now access here. Right Honorable Speaker, for that facility to serve Ugandans well, the human resource must be there. And we have seen that, last time I traveled to Uganda, to Kenya, and a Kenyan nurse actually is earning much as a Uganda doctor. How are you going to improve that? Because now, if I see there is a good job, there is a job and I'm earning more in Kenya, I'll go to Kenya, I will not stay here. How are we going to help to stop that? And also you see in our accommodation for health workers, is in a very pathetic state. You'll find somebody is working in a very wonderful hospital, very beautiful, but where she sleeps or he sleeps is very pathetic. So I think the government should also look on that accommodation for health workers. Secondly, I'm actually suggesting that the government should introduce such hospitals in all 4 regions of Uganda so that all Ugandans can access such a facility, the 4 regions. And then another thing I want to say is the issue of IV.
Now what? Then Wekomba, Achayo, Atiku, then I come down.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I would like to thank the Minister for the statement. Madam Speaker, on the waiver system, I think that is a good idea, and I pray that the committee will come up with affordable figures so that rural women can be able to have reconstructive surgery. Honorable Joy Atim has just brought that out clearly. These women are so desperate in their communities. They are stigmatized because they are there with leaking urine and smelling urine. They really need that kind of treatment. Madam Speaker, the ministers just told us that the facility was handed over to government on 13th and that patients started getting treatment on the 17th. Madam Speaker, I looked at Annex 2 and I see as if there's some contradiction. Under Annex 2, there are some items which are under installation. I'm just wondering, Madam Speaker, these patients started getting treatment on that on the 17th. For example, the incubator is not yet ready, and I would imagine that by 17th, some others could have gone to deliver, and maybe some could have had prematures. I don't know how you could have taken care of such babies. And besides, Madam Speaker, don't you think that the ministry is actually preparing a legal battleground between government and the contractor? This is a contractor who has not yet completed installation of some items. Now, I would like to find out from the minister, do you think this contractor, after he or she has already handed over the facility, do you think you will be able to continue with those other activities that are not yet complete? Finally, Madam Speaker, on supporting the...
Wekomba, Achayo, Atiku.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I also thank the Minister for the statement. However, I find it challenging when the Minister says that they trained a few health workers to handle patients in the hospital, and they've spent lots of money in this training. We have seen in areas where we've moved under my other committee of local government, where they train workers or staff that are not qualified in that positions, and they have spent a lot of money, and at the end of it all, they are even running away, and Ugandans are not benefiting, and the government is not benefiting from the trainings. I also want to find out from the minister, where she also says that the trained staff that are really so few are going to stay in Uganda because you are paying them very little money, and then other countries are paying more money. Don't you think these very few trained health workers are going to seek for better, greener pastures and leave Ugandans with no treatment? And yet, you the very minister who came here telling Ugandans that we are going to bring in Cuban doctors. So I think we are going to still undergo the same, that these doctors or the health workers you've trained are going to move out of Uganda, and then Ugandans will have to again face that challenge. You've trained the few. How about these other health centers or facilities that we have in other parts of the...
Honorable Atiku, Achayo, then Ochen.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I want to once again congratulate the Minister and government upon delivering this facility. And I think the invitation to go and tour this facility should not be taken lightly, because it's one way of appreciating value for money.
There are many ministers here for whom we have approved loans. They have never come on the floor here to invite us to go and see what they have delivered with that facility. And therefore, we must congratulate the minister and also take the invitation seriously. Secondly, Right Honorable Speaker, the minister mentioned other facilities that were constructed under this loan facility. She mentioned Chirudu, okay, the program. It may not be the loan, but she talked about Chirudu and Kawempe. I just want to point out the issue of the quality of work, because Chirudu, the way it is at the moment, with the sewage flowing, crossing the roads and inconveniencing the neighbors, I think for a hospital in the vicinity of residents is unhealthy. And therefore the minister must provide to us a response on what plans they're doing to curb that situation. The Kawempe, recently we saw the roof gave way. So has the ministry undertaken to ensure that quality of work in these other facilities is to standard just the way this facility in Mulago has been constructed? Last but not least, I want to emphasize the issue of the welfare of the staff. I have been to Mulago. The nurses are sleeping with the flowing sewage. Some of them have had to improvise shacks to sleep in. How do you expect a nurse who is sleeping in a shack to attend to?
Agago North, then Ochen. Yes. There, here, there. We are coming. Let's finish up there, then we'll come down.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. I would like to appreciate the Minister for the report and coming out with our women's hospital. I was among the members of Parliament who went to Kenya on the Committee of Gender. We were able to visit the women's hospital in Nairobi. But it's a little bit different from what I'm hearing from the minister, because in Nairobi, in Kenya, everything is free. So I'm wondering whether this is a public women's hospital or it's a private one. Because if you look at the prices here, Madam Speaker, Caesarean, Zambia Hospital charges about 800,000, and yet Mulago is going to be charging 2 million shillings. IVF, there are so many women who are dying to give birth, Madam Speaker. They are charging 13 million shillings. So what's the difference? How will it benefit these poor women? Like women from Pade, I have so many of them. Some of them are even asking for local medicine, local herbs, so that they can what? They can give birth. So the minister should come out clean and tell us whether this is a private facility or it's a government facility, because I thought it was constructed for all women from Uganda to what? To benefit. And if possible, if we would include women who face maybe domestic violence. Some of these women, they can't afford anything. That could be one of the centers they would run to. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Ochen Julius, Rutamaguzi, Kuraije, then Agaba.
Madam Speaker, I feel very sad when I stand on this floor of Parliament to listen legitimate elected leaders discussing contradictory positions which are not compliant to the UN Declaration on Health. Madam Speaker, the statement made by the minister this afternoon here, it is an abomination to this country. Madam Speaker, we are signatories to the UN, and health issues are human rights issues. There is no way this country can do a deliberate discrimination on health in this country, and then members of Parliament who are legitimately elected sit here take a position on this matter. If even our women and children in health center 2s, in health center 4s across the country are dying because they cannot afford, and the Parliament of Uganda goes to borrow a loan to build a facility that must benefit a few people who have money in their pockets at the expense of the taxpayers. Madam Speaker, I will lead a process here to say I object the question of payment in this facility. I object it. And I will call upon Ugandans to know this is injustice put on them. I will not accept this.
Ona Rutamaguzi, then Kuraije, then Agaba.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to thank the government for the facility. However, the government has some challenges of planning for operational and maintenance costs. Usually, some staffs of these facilities, when you find them in the way they work, you can hardly identify them from the patients who go to the facilities. Not until when government tries to look into the issue of underfunding these facilities such that it doesn't create unnecessary anxieties, that's when these facilities will be meaningful to the society. So I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Now, Kuraije Agaba. Then we shall close with Atiang Ayaka. Here.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. At times when you sit in this house, I'm reminded of a Mhaya hunter who succeeded with the hunt. And when he brought the animal, he told the wife, "Utajichumba, utajocha, ngisange hili. Don't cook it, don't roast it, but I want it ready." We want better facilities. We want to maintain the staff very well. But we are also against payment. And yet we know Minister of Health is still underfunded. So what solution as Parliament are we giving to Minister of Health? May I therefore suggest that instead of adding another chapter on the Book of Lamentations, can we indeed advise the ministry how they can raise the money to meet these facilities, maintain them, pay the doctors, so that our poor women can access those facilities without paying? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Ona Agaba, how many?
Right Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity. I want to differ 180 degrees from my colleague Ochen and thank the government for putting up the facility and remind colleagues that this is a specialized facility. It's not a normal facility, and it will be by referral, like the minister said, for those patients who have complications that the national referral cannot handle, then they will be referred to Mulago. I think this is the spirit in which we should understand it. But number two is to raise it to the attention of the minister. The consideration for waiver in terms of payments for services by patients needs to be managed very well because its practicability is going to become difficult in the way you segregate on who has capacity to pay for the facility, for the services, and who does not have capacity to pay for the services. Surprisingly, I see the committee proposed to consider the waiver of fees for patients being headed by the head of clinical services of the hospital. When you have very few technical staff like this, you don't want to waste the time of a doctor of this caliber into negotiating issues of fees and waive of fees. I think we need to take a decision as a hospital on whether people will pay this money and its minimum, or they will not pay at all and they take that, than considering waiving and not waiving because it's not going to become practical. Two, I want to make a suggestion to the government, to the ministry, about building capacity for the specialized medics that you require to work in this hospital. We don't have so many gynecologists. We don't have so many specialized people in the areas mentioned here. I think.
Honorable Olanya, then Atkins, Atiang, and Ayaka.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Minister, the most important thing in any business is human resource. We have seen in this country, as Ugandans, we are very poor in maintaining our human resource. My colleague Indian on it, every time we train well-qualified doctors, if you move to the neighboring countries, the majority are doctors from Uganda. We do not know how to motivate our medical personnel. Right, Honorable Minister, you need to put into the back of your mind that the few doctors who are trained using this particular loan, we need to get the way of maintaining and retaining them at Mulago Hospital. By paying them well, motivating them, let them like their work. Secondly, Right Honorable Speaker, I do not know the criteria the minister used in comparing the cost. If you look at the list of costs on page 9, if you look at it critically, you find that the HIV viral load at Mulago is going to be at 150,000. Outside market is also 150,000. Taking into consideration that what we have in Mulago, we have government facilities. Outside market, they are paying rent, they are buying drugs, but here we are using our own drugs being bought using taxpayers' money. Therefore, you have to tell us the criteria you use in this particular comparison, because the differences are really very small. Thank you.
Atkins, Atiang, Ayaka.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and I want to thank the Minister for that eloquent submission, and also the President and your able leadership, Madam Speaker. I want to address myself to three aspects. Madam Speaker, as much as health is a human right, I think it's very important that we try to place that under our local perspective. And importantly, I want to just focus on three things, the three A's: affordability, accessibility, and also availability. Madam Speaker, when you talk about specialization, it don't mean that we might have to think outside of what we have in terms of human resource capabilities. Now, there are a lot of emergent issues clinically. In a hospital like this one, we have to probably upgrade our human resource capabilities. And that means we'll have to focus more on research. And Madam Minister will encourage you, certainly as one of the best doctors that we have in the country, to also look at the aspects of research, so that as they are in the labs, the health workers, new investigation will be required. And that could also require a further or upgraded training that merge with new areas for investigations. And lastly, I want to see, Madam Speaker, whether this government could.
Stella, Atiang, and then end with the Ayaka.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. I'd also want to add my voice to what my colleagues have already said. I want to thank the government of Uganda for this initiative, for supporting the construction of this specialized women hospital. Honorable Speaker, I wonder whether the Ministry of Health carried a survey to come up with these prices that have been tagged for the services to be rendered by this hospital. I wonder whether the services are actually encouraging the patients to accept referrals than discouraging, because you might find that these prices are higher compared to the prices that are afforded by other hospitals around, private hospitals around, therefore failing the operation of our national hospital. So, Honorable Minister, you would inform us on how you came with these prices. Either you carried the survey. Then the other one is actually about the affordability by these ordinary persons. The ordinary persons, let's take an example in Karamoja. Persons are referred here, for example, in Mulago, but they are left without services just because they are not able to afford the prices that are given to them. Or maybe sometimes they might be told ABC drug is not in the hospital. And because they cannot afford the price to buy that drug outside, they end up going back home without the service. So there are very many women who have shared their experiences related to reproductive.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I also want to add my voice in thanking and commending the ministry for delivering a very important product for the women fraternity. We really need to commend them because this has been a long desired achievement for the women. And this is a hospital that will deliver services that we have been otherwise getting from elsewhere. Now that we are having it in Uganda here, we should be grateful. And we should also encourage the ministry to move further to see that other services that Ugandans have been getting from abroad are equally available here. Madam Speaker, also I want to support the ministry in the issue of charging costs for service delivery. Because we have to maintain the hospital facility, we need to motivate the staff. If we are going to say that there's going to be no charging for services, I think we are doing a disservice. They must find the best possible way to balance to ensure that the poor citizens get access. And also, they must be able to see to it that the services will help to address the need that is wide in this society, especially many women who are suffering. And now that we know reproductive health is a right, Madam Speaker, there are many people who are in very inaccessible places. They would also equally love to benefit from these services. How are they going to get these services? How about the referral system, especially the women of Maracha district? How are they going to access these services right at the center? What is the referral mechanism that is being put in place by the ministry? I think that needs to be addressed. Madam Speaker, I want to share especially on what I went through.
Now, honourable members, this debate was to last only 30 minutes, but because of the importance of the subject, I allowed 37 members to contribute. I think they have fairly represented the opinions of the people in the country. I want to know whether the minister has anything to reply, thematically, briefly. But thank you, members, for the contributions.
Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, allow me to thank you so much for your observations and the questions that you have raised. Right Honorable Speaker, all these questions would have been answered if you toured the facility. It was this Parliament that took a decision that we build an ultra-modern facility and equip it with ultra-modern equipment. The equipment we have there are actually 2018 equipment. We need this facility maintained. We need the doctors paid well so that they can stay. We are offering services that are not anywhere else. They are to support our women to have the services in country. We have benchmarked prices with our high-grade private facilities here and made them even lower. When we go outside for medical treatment, we pay. When we are in country, we don't want to pay.
and yet we want the facilities maintained. So, Right Honorable Speaker, I will only conclude by saying I welcome you all to see your facility. When you have seen your facility, then you can give me answers on how I can maintain it. But as Ministry of Health, we are committed to ensure that the women of this country get the best. Right Honorable Speaker, on the supplementary, we did request for this money during the budgeting period. Unfortunately, at that time, it was not there, but Finance had made a commitment that if the hospital opens, they will provide it, and they are ready to provide it. Telemedicine was not part of this hospital. Telemedicine was part of Mulago, and Mulago is supposed to spread it out to the other hospitals. And telemedicine in Mulago is still under procurement. Mulago is not yet complete. So this hospital will be connected. The National Health Insurance Bill is before Cabinet for consideration. We are fast-tracking it, and we hope it will be available here. Specifically on vesicovaginal fistulae. Right Honorable Speaker, we have tried so much to roll out these services to all the regional referral hospitals because we know women are suffering. Allow me, honorable members, to tell you that repairing a vesicovaginal fistula and following it up, these women who leak urine, is not cheap. It is extremely expensive. They spend 14 days in hospital. If we are to repair free of charge in this hospital and keep them for 14 days and feed them at the same time, because here you have a state-of-the-art kitchen and you want to offer food, I don't know whether I will maintain the facility. All laundry is being done. Patients don't come with clothes. Everything is in this facility. Surely, honorable members, I need you to come and see, and then you will take a decision. Kirudu and Kawempe, we are working on the sewage, right, Honorable Speaker. Sewage is no longer leaking on the roads. We have a cesspool emptier emptying it, and National Water is working on putting up a package plant that Ministry of Finance has already committed to financing. Lastly, right, Honorable Speaker, Nairobi Women's Hospital is not free. It is not free. It is under national health.
Thank you, Honourable Minister, and we shall come. But first I want to, Chairman of Health, have you been there? I want you to start your committee first, then I'll read the other committees later. We shall come before independence.
Can I say one, Madam Speaker, yes, as we plan to go, we want to appreciate the President and the government for this and your leadership in achieving this. But of course, as you direct us to go, there are very many issues because from what the Minister presented, staff structure, salaries are not there, but also they didn't have much time to think about the implementation. And that is likely to cause us problems. The list of people who are trained, most of them
but now you are reopening the debate. I just asked you to arrange to go.
We are going to go.
Okay.
Thank you,
go
Madam
and then
Speaker.
come back to us. Thank you. Item 4, and I will be amending the order paper to allow the Minister of Internal Affairs to present one paper. But now, for now, let's do item 4.
Item 4.
Item 4.
Item 4 on the order paper, presentation of papers, motion for resolution of Parliament to authorize government to borrow up to $104.0 million from Standard Chartered Banks to finance the national CCTV network expansion project.
Minister of Finance? Minister of Finance.
Madam Speaker, I beg to lay on table a request by government to borrow up to $104 million from Standard Chartered Bank to finance the national CCTV network expansion project. I beg to lay.
Honourable members, to send to the Committee of National Economy for perusal and report back. Item 5. Minister of Internal Affairs.
Amended item the amended item is design, construction, and equipping the Regional Forensic Referral Center of Excellence.
Minister of Internal Affairs.
Right Honourable Speaker and honourable members, I beg to lay on table an agreement between the government of Uganda, represented by the Uganda Police Force, the Uganda Land Commission, and Tip Top Investment Company in respect of the design, construction, and equipping the Regional Forensic Referral Center of Excellence for the Eastern region. I beg to lay.
Honourable members, to send the Committee of Defence and Internal Affairs for perusal and report back. Item 6.
Item 6, laying of papers. Laying of reports. 6.1, tax expenditure report for the period July 2017 to June 2018 financial year.
Minister of Finance.
Madam Speaker, if you may allow me just to confirm that on the Minister of Finance, we have agreed that we'll release the supplementary of 7.15 to support this important hospital for the running, for the rest of the period of this financial year. But now I want to beg to lay on table the tax expenditure report for the period from July 2017 to June 2018 for the financial 2017-18.
Members to send to the Committee on Finance, Plan, Economic Development for perusal and report back.
6.2, special audit of the operations of Uganda Media Council for period 1st July 2012 to 30th June 2016.
Can I ask Commissioner Bahati to lay that?
Madam Speaker and honorable colleagues, I beg to lay on table the special audit report on the operations of the Uganda Media Council for the period from 1st July 2012 to 30th June 2016.
Members to send to the Committee on Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises for perusal and report back.
Item 7, motion for resolution of Parliament to compel.
I think we can handle it tomorrow. Yes. Now, members, I want to thank you very much for the work done, but I want to remind the government, tomorrow the Prime Minister must come here to address the issue of the UPDF brutality. Tomorrow. Yes. Okay, members, House adjourned to 2 p.m. tomorrow afternoon.